So I've just come to Portugal for my friend's wedding, and the weather is absolutely beautiful outside. All my friends are by the pool. But as an entrepreneur, I think one thing that people just don't really talk about is kind of like that mindset of I've still got things to do. Like even if I'm here and it's a beautiful place, all my friends are here, but I've still got some emails to catch up on. I've still got some LinkedIn responses to do. And the thing with being like an entrepreneur, especially when you got a business and you're trying to like get to where you want to get to, it kind of consumes you in a way. Like on the flight here, all I was thinking about is like, what's the next move? How can I develop the product of what I'm doing? Can I get some more clients? And I don't think people kind of appreciate what actually happens in the background to these entrepreneurs and people who get so far, because it's not pretty. And that's kind of what I wanted to really show on my channel is like it's it's something that needs to really be more addressed on online. Like you don't really see the startup story of somebody. You see the end product of 10 years worth of graft. And that's the whole point of this channel, is to show you like this is really hard. Like I've had a lot of conversations about AudioFlow, and I've the first question that a lot of people asked me is about the compliance piece on there. Like where's their data going to get stored? Is the system SOC 2 compliant or ISO compliant, which is a regulation here in the UK around data protection? And that's like a £10,000 audit that I need to pay for in order to achieve that. And it might not even pass. So there's loads of work that I need to do in order to prepare for that audit, just to make sure that the systems that we use in order to build AudioFlow doesn't leak any information. So lots of work to do, lots of graft to do. Keep on pushing as always. I'm going to catch up on some emails now, and then I will give you an update, hopefully when I get back to the UK, or maybe even one tomorrow. Hey, and welcome back to the channel. I'm Kasim, the founder of AudioFlow, and this channel is basically for me to talk about my journey building an AI business, as well as other avenue streams that I have as well. So in the last video, you just probably just saw me. I just got back from a holiday in Portugal. It was my friend's wedding, and it was an amazing wedding, amazing people. But the one thing that I noticed is that I was thinking a lot about the business and thinking about like what should I do when I get back. The kind of 4 days that I was away in Portugal, all I was thinking to myself is like that this is 4 days worth of work that I could be doing to build the business. And it's a really weird mentality to have now when setting something up for yourself. It's like you I don't know if it's just me, but as an entrepreneur, you're kind of always thinking like, what do I do next? What's the next steps? How do I get new leads? How do I bring business in? As a kind of like family man, husband with a mortgage, I got 2 kids. My biggest concern at the moment is obviously like income now. So it's kind of like I've still got leeway from some savings on and kind of money that I got given when I left my role. But you're always thinking to yourself like that money could be doing something else. I don't want it to be going towards like bills. So how do I generate more income to come in at the moment, until obviously the aim is for AudioFlow to get to £1 million business and beyond. So I had a really good call. Originally, the call with this company is called Assembly U, and the founder Adam is somebody who I've met kind of in passing in shows before. And I reached out to him and I basically just asked him to have a conversation about how we could potentially partner together. And at the end of the call, I thought it was really interesting because we started talking about like his journey and what exactly he's done to kind of get his business to a point where he was actually able to achieve like a second round. I think he's got like a £1 million investment now from some VC companies. And the first year, the kind of advice that he gave me was the first year he did other work outside of the business, and he called it like just to keep the lights on. And I thought this is such good advice, because it's like, yes, I am trying to aim to build something here, but at the same time I obviously need money. And yeah, luckily I have other businesses outside of AudioFlow, which is something that I'll chat to you about how I can generate some more income coming in. But I'm actively looking for contracts at the moment just to support obviously revenue coming in, because when you were on such a high salary of $100,000, that's after taxes is roughly about 5,500 a month. So I'm trying to compensate that much income that I'm not getting anymore. And that is obviously a challenge, because you're trying to build, you're trying to focus, but at the same time, you don't want to divert your focus and then do some work for somebody else. but at the same time, you realize that you need to do that work for somebody else in order to keep the lights on. So it's a kind of a chicken and an egg situation that I'm in at the moment. I'm really wanting to take AudioFlow as high as it can go. And I really believe it can, because obviously the conversations that I've had have validated that. But at the same time, I need to make sure that I have money coming in. Otherwise, the money that I have, I want that to be able to be invested in the business. I want to use that to like grow the business, marketing, more compliance, and all the rest of it that I need in order to actually achieve what I want to achieve. So yeah, it's a bit of a tricky situation that I'm in right now, but fingers crossed I get a contract soon. There are some available. I've applied. It's a bit of a weird market at the moment when it comes to recruitment. And I think the thing that's not really helping me is on my LinkedIn, it's talking a lot about AudioFlow, and obviously me trying to push the narrative around why podcasts are the new forms of learning and learning on the go and all the rest of it. But it's like, am I doing myself a disservice applying for roles which people more than likely will look at my LinkedIn just to kind of like suss out the person, especially when going for senior roles? Are they accepting that the fact that I have got another business? Because what they will be thinking from like a recruitment standpoint is, how much time is Kasim going to be giving to my business as well as his own? So it's a really weird one, and I've been toying around with the idea of like, do I stop doing this over LinkedIn? Do I change my founder position to like freelancer and see what people kind of adjust from there? But then at the same time, from the flip side of the AudioFlow situation is like, am I going to do myself a disservice there where people aren't following me for the reason of AudioFlow? And it's a really tricky situation at the minute. So that's just kind of like some thoughts that I kind of been going through my head at the moment. But yeah, kind of going back to the conversation I had with that founder, Adam, some really good value conversations about, because he's basically got a platform where he's been creating podcasts, but actual podcasts, and selling that catalog of podcasts to businesses for, I think it's at $50,000 for the £50,000 per year for the suite of learning. So one thing that a lot of companies do, so kind of being in enterprise companies before, is that they don't have times or team to build the amount of learning that their business requires. So what they do is that they go to outside services and buy content and plug it into their offering. So instead of them recording them podcasts, which they can do, they basically then just buy a catalog of learning, because they know that they're always going to get updated learning regularly from that company. And then they kind of plug it into their learning management system or wherever they host learning. So it kind of gives the kind of employees some sort of like learning resources if they need to or want to learn outside of like their actual day job. Me personally, I never used to use any of that, because I think my personal own learning, it all came from the University of YouTube. So that's just something that the way I find learning, because it's like learning on demand. And if there was like a service like YouTube, but for learning, I think that would be really cool. So it's like you have other services like Udemy, which is like user generated content, which sits on their platform. You've got like LinkedIn Learning, which is obviously LinkedIn's a billion-pound company. So they've got money, resources, but their content's still not as good as like just going onto YouTube and getting real people talking about a certain topic, especially like AI. Most AI courses now are coming from YouTube. Like if you actually look at the data behind it, most people learn about AI. I think it's like 60% of people searching for AI courses is actually happening on YouTube. And so I just think that maybe that format, I still think that kind of raw, real person talking to camera, talking through a system, screen sharing is really valuable, because I think it's like in the moment, they are building something and it's happening in real time, especially the speed of AI. So yeah, with Adam, that conversation went really well. Potential partnership there for AudioFlow. He said that potentially as well, that they could actually use it to service their clients, as well as then being able to sell AudioFlow to their clients. And what will happen from like a monetary perspective is that they'll take a percentage, which is yet to be agreed. And then they will, say for example, like take 40% of the sale, which sounds a lot, but when you're kind of growing a business, I think it's something like you just need to get what you can get, because I can get user testing, I can get the brand out there. I can also say then to investors or other businesses that this company is using it. So it kind of the good thing is like once you've got a couple of companies on board, you've got a couple of like big names, then it really makes it more easier to have conversations with bigger companies, because the other company is using it, and that's kind of builds your reputation and kind of your power within the industry. So that's currently where we're at with AudioFlow. This week, my intentions was just to do a load of cold outreach, but I've been a bit distracted on some other projects that I've been working on as well this week. So I'll quickly tell you about them. So I think last week I talked about we're doing a webinar for day 7, which is the AI agency that I started with my co-founder, and that is going to be a conversation. I think we've got like 12 dental practices on that conversation at the moment. So that is basically going to be to talk to dental practices and other healthcare professionals. I think we've got a couple of aesthetic clinics on there of how the health industry can benefit from AI, because I think a lot of people still don't understand AI, especially people who aren't consumed with it. My wife, for example, is a prime example. She is a nurse and her only knowledge of AI is ChatGPT and kind of just general chatting to it, not as far as that I know about it, and kind of I know the extent of what it can do at the minute. And I think that a lot of people are in that same position because they're so busy in their kind of own industries that they probably don't know what's possible. So that's basically what the aim is to do with that webinar, is kind of teach them what is the art of possible with AI within the healthcare industry. So that could be stuff like automations, AI receptionists, building their own SaaS products. And then also I'm going to do a little bit around the kind of SEO behind like ChatGPT and how you can actually surface your own content on there, because where they actually getting them sources from is from actual internet sources. So that's basically what I'm going to be doing in that conversation. So hopefully the aim is to do these webinars, these conversations, to build trust, become a authority within the area of where they sit, and then hopefully get some clients off the back of it. Also with day 7 as well, that we're doing a AI voice agent, but the kind of hard part is integrating it with a dental system called Dentally, which is something that we're working on in the background, just making sure like the webhooks and everything can be read from a data perspective, because ultimately what the dentist wants is they want it to like look at availability in their calendars using that CRM which they have, and then book an appointment within there. At the moment, it's working great because it works within like Google calendars, but it's just making sure that it works within that system. Also cancelling appointments and seeing people's availabilities between doctor 1, 2, 3 and hygienist 1, 2 and 3 and so forth. So we've been working on that for like a week, so not too long. We've got pretty far, and hopefully by the end of this week we should be able to give that answer around like how far we can take it with their CRM, which I'm confident with. We've got a software developer who's working on everything at the minute, so that's that. One thing I haven't really spoke about is that I've got that marketing agency, which I have spoke about, but a part of that marketing agency is actually a talent department called Unscripted Talent. And with Unscripted Talent, we've got roughly around about 30 influencers signed under our books. We've got 2 influencer managers, one's more senior and one's more junior. And I had an idea the other day. I was like, why don't I use AudioFlow to build a course? Because if I look at like the DMs all the time in that social channel, I get loads of people on a daily basis going, hey, how do we get signed? How do we become a part of like your books? And how do I become an influencer? Is quite a common thing that a lot of people come to us with, because I think a lot of people want to be an influencer. It's a lucrative business. It's only getting bigger. So what I did is I set up a school community and used AudioFlow to build 15 podcasts as courses for a beginner to become an influencer. So 15 like 5 to 10 minute podcast episodes per kind of section to build this course. And I thought, before we start investing more time, money and effort into building like video production courses and kind of getting together and filming all these kind of scenarios about what could be good for an influencer, is like, why don't I use the tool that I built, which I'm promoting for businesses to use, to build my own school community with? And that's only one part of a school community. Obviously, I've got a whole point of a community is kind of conversations, Q&As. So we're going to be doing like Q&As with the talent management department, probably a Q&A with myself once a month. And then the intention is to get one of our influencers to do a Q&A as well whenever they're available on the channel. So it's something that I've been working on for kind of last couple of days since I got back from Portugal. I'm hoping to launch that next week, and then I'll probably do some like Facebook marketing to kind of drive people to that, and also using my own social channels for Unscripted Talent just to kind of drive traffic to it. So that could be another income stream as well. It's not a really big task to build. It's more time just kind of engaging the community once they join, and then building like continuous courses and resources for people to actually get benefit from it. Because the worst thing you want to do is get a community on school, get somebody to join, and then all of a sudden they keep dropping off. So just, yeah, loads of different things happening this week. I feel like I'm doing a lot, but not doing enough, if that makes sense. I feel like I'm doing like loads of little bits here and there, but I just don't feel like I've got like a consistent pattern of like flow of work. So I've started to like document and block out calendar times and saying like this is for AudioFlow, this is for day 7, this is other projects, and then obviously like applying for other contracts and kind of work as well whilst we're growing. So yeah, very, very busy, but really weird situation at the moment. I'm just even thinking about like, do I even do an update this week? Because I don't really have much to kind of say from a results perspective. But I think this is one thing about like entrepreneurship is like not every week is going to be a success. Not every week's going to be a celebration of, oh my God, this is what's happened. It's going to be a bit of like little bits and it's going to feel a bit bitty here and there. But it is all progress, I think, is like this week, yeah, it might not have felt as productive as last week, but in theory, it is. I've got a webinar happening, and that's going to build some confidence about AI conversations. I mean, in my intentions, then to do like one webinar or one event every month, and then to really start looking at like what other conferences or kind of shows are available for me to book myself into for AudioFlow to kind of get that name out there. I obviously have my existing business as well, so can I drive more sales to that just to kind of make more income come from to them businesses because they are existing businesses. We have a very good, strong relationship and reputation within like the dental space for marketing. So lots of kind of things happening at the moment. And the good thing is that I've got a great team who are behind me doing all the nitty gritty work while I do stuff like this and engage with yourselves. So yeah, just really wanted to give that update. What I'm going to do as well is I've started to do like a Lovable series as well. So what you can build on Lovable and how I build things on Lovable. So I'm going to do another episode on that probably tomorrow and drop it in a day or two. But yeah, busy week, but just not feeling kind of like as kind of productive as I should be, even though I am doing a lot of stuff. But what I'll do next week is I'll give you an update on how the success of the webinar has been. Hopefully by then I should have launched the school community as well for the unscripted talent stuff. So give you an update on that and just kind of let you know how many members we're getting, and potentially, hopefully, we might get some like cost per acquisition data as well. And then what I'll do is obviously give you an update on AudioFlow as well. Hopefully by next week I'm going to be paying for ISO 27001, which is basically the compliance that I need in order to actually get my foot into the corporate world. So yeah, that's basically an update. Any questions, put it in the comments. And if you've got any support or advice, let me know. And yeah, we'll take it easy and then we'll go from there. So if you like this content, like, subscribe, share with your friends who might be going through the same thing. That'd be much appreciated. Thanks a lot. Bye.